Okay, so today is June 28th, 2026 at 8:49 p.m. and is the Asia session for Monday. So let's get looking into the charts. So today coming into the session at market open, I wanted to kind of see what happened at this level right here because there was also a support level here that I kind of bounced out of coming into the market open. Let me fix that. And so basically, I just trade support and resistance, nothing special, but I have a checklist that I follow that I want to make sure that I check off everything on that list before I even think about getting into a trade. And to start off with, I hop onto the 15-minute, even the 1 hour, 4 hour, to check the overall trend of the market and how it's moving. And then I'll also go to the 1 hour just to check if there's an SMT, which as of right now, there is not an SMT. All right, no SMT. So I'll either look for SMT on the 1 hour, and that's in my checklist, but that is optional. But the first things first, I try to find the overall trend of the market. And what I was looking at here was that it was a downtrend, especially after last week, after it kind of had this big pump June 24th, but then coming into the later session, June 25th, it immediately dumped and recovered this full entire unhealthy move. And so now I see that we are on a downtrend. And so coming into this market open, I wanted to look at this level right here, a level of resistance area, because also there was this level above resting where price was struggling to break up through. So it was also coming back down very strongly. And so I kind of watched price run all the way up here. And there was a 15-minute order block right here, which an order block is basically just an area where buyers and sellers have just came in and reversed and made a swing low or swing high. So I seen that 15-minute order block and just waited, and then also seen this 15-minute rejection block that formed coming out of that order block and heavily displacing down, coming to the support area, closing off Friday last week, then to open up and bounce off that support, come right back up into this level of resistance here. And then next on my checklist, let me look over here. Yeah, I wait for a price to go into my zone that I have marked out, which today is this resistance zone that I wanted to see how it reacts. So it went into that area, and then I wanted to see it tap into a higher time frame PD array, which I find my entries on the 1 minute. So the 15-minute is my higher time frame PD array that I look for, which PD arrays would be fair value gaps, order blocks, rejection blocks, all the above. So as you see, price came up into this order block, rejection block, and this resistance area, making this very high probability of price reversing at this level. So then I was waiting for the price to displace. So then I was hopping down to the 1 minute, right? And let me backtrack also. I wanted to see liquidity get swept, right? So that's another key point in my checklist. As we see right here, this swing high that was here, or not swing high, but this high, damn. But this top of the wick here that came out of the rejection block, I wanted to see that get swept. And also this swing high right here also got swept. So that gave fuel, basically in my mind, that gave fuel to then move lower after coming into this higher time frame PD array. And then we drop down to the 1 minute, so where I look for my entry, right? So whenever we reach this level, we sweep liquidity, and we're in this higher time frame PD array. What I want to see is displacement. And for me, I just want to see a very strong move and momentum taking over to the opposite side of what was happening. So market was going up and it was very bullish coming into this market open. And then we get to this key level here. And my signal kind of was this big bearish candle that just formed out of this level after this failed attempt to go higher, sweeping this high right here. So that was my bearish signal right here that the trend was going to reverse at this level. And I kind of just wanted to wait and see if it was going to close below this area right here. I didn't want to rush too much into it because then it could have just went right back up. So I waited until it kind of got in this area and was seeing how the candles are moving in real time. So that's when I got into my entry. And then I had a break even point down here around this swing low. Just as, you know, halfway through the trade, I'd want to either take partials or I would be at break even and make it a risk-free trade. And then I really would target all the way down to New York's low or the session's low. But I was comfortable at, you know, it was a big win, 150 points, and, you know, I'll call only half of the move. Could have got more, but also I'm on a prop firm, make it a little bit easier on myself because there's a 40% consistency rule for the payout with alpha futures. So overall, this was still a $1,493 day. And it's not even all about the profits, but just taking the good trade. Like, see, I went through my checklist and I followed my setup that I wanted to take, and it made it a high probability setup. And that's how I was able to capture this 150 point trade. And so that was kind of just the trade recap for today. You know, I'm going to be making a video real soon on how I would start over if I was a beginner trader. Because I know, once again, like I said before, I have friends, family that ask me how do they get into this. And I would love to just show the steps that I would take if I was trying to get into it now in 2026.